Today I'm talking about experiencing the Holy Spirit in the baptism of the Spirit. So stay tuned for the teaching. Today on the subject of experiencing the Holy Spirit and the power that Acts 1:8 is talking about. Jesus said, "But you shall receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you shall be witnesses." Acts 1:8, witnesses to me in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and to the ends of the earth, as he was speaking to the disciples on what was going to happen. And this is applicable for us today because, you see, we receive the Holy Spirit at salvation. Our body becomes the temple of the Holy Spirit in our born-again experience where the Holy Spirit bursts. We're born of the Spirit, in other words, on the inside of us in our spirit. We experience Him in our salvation experience. But Matthew 3:11 says Jesus is the baptizer. The moment you ask Him to baptize you with power, that's the baptism of the Holy Spirit, because Jesus said, "But you shall receive power." The power of the Holy Spirit is power for service. In other words, it means that you don't have to go forth in your own ability, your own strength, your own wisdom, and just try to witness. No, this power, as Acts 1:8 is talking about, makes us the witness, because from the original language, the King James really kind of gives the impression here that it says you shall, in other words, be able to go and witness. That's not what it says from the original language. From the original language, it makes us the witness. In other words, it reveals Jesus to other people, to where all of us suddenly, because of the power of God, people being healed, people experiencing the wisdom that comes from God, people experiencing knowledge that comes from God. Man, the Spirit of God working through us for the benefit of another person, to where all of a sudden God becomes very real. The gifts of the Spirit, where people come in within our midst and suddenly their hearts are revealed, which is like, there's no way you can know that. That's God. In other words, suddenly God becomes real, becomes the witness because of the power, the ability of God, this that is within us, and the ability of the Holy Spirit. I tell you, the baptism of the Holy Spirit, it's an area where we're experiencing relationship with the Holy Spirit in this area where Jesus baptized us. He sent the Holy Spirit to the earth. In Acts 2:4 it says they were all filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak with other tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. In other words, they experienced the Holy Spirit in power and a prayer language. I tell you, the benefit of your prayer language is a spiritual benefit. Jude 20 says you build yourselves up in the most holy faith as you pray in the Spirit. So the benefit of your prayer language is a spiritual benefit, not natural. Your prayer language, praying in the Spirit, is not going to make you look good to other people. In fact, when you pray in your prayer language, it's going to require a humility of heart in front of others, because that typically, when we're praying in our personal prayer language, we don't normally, and it would not be normal to go down to the middle of a mall, as an example, and pray in the Spirit out loud, and people look at you like you're weird. No. Acts 2:4 says they were filled with the Spirit and began to speak with the tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance, because their experience was for themselves and for God working through them in power. But you see, we do have a personal prayer language, but being filled with the Spirit in this experience is important. And you can experience the Holy Spirit being filled in so many different ways for the glory of God, to benefit others as they're being ministered to. Because when you experience the power of the Holy Spirit, you're now clothed with the power for service. In other words, it's a servant's heart. He works in us, but He works through us.